Hello from Mr. Ray and Jess at Route 9. If you're using adhesive, sticker, sometimes called everyday vinyl, this video is going to show you how to set up to make a vinyl decal or sticker just like this one that we put on the Cameo laptop. We're going to use scrap or a piece of vinyl that you pre-cut to the size that you want. And then once you remove the background, which is called weeding in vinyl sticker making world, you'll be able to apply that using transfer tape to any surface that's non-porous, glass, metal, just like we did our laptop. Definitely check out the guide to vinyl with the Silhouette. To start out, we're going to choose the right mat. Definitely do the medium stick mat. And set up your machine so that there's room for the mat to pass through. As it cuts, the mat will come out the back, so you don't want it right up against the wall. Go ahead and remove the non-stick liner. Set that aside. If you did buy a roll of vinyl, you might be tempted to just roll the whole thing out onto the mat. Just a tip, I wouldn't do that because it will try to roll back up and you're going to wear out the stickiness of your mat holding down vinyl that you don't need to hold. So cut your vinyl or grab a scrap from our scrap bin and place that in the top left-hand corner of your mat and smooth it down, making sure that it's not going to move while it's being cut. Note the size and position. You're going to need the design that you create on the computer to fit within that size and be in the same position on the mat as it is in real life. We didn't quite get a perfect 4 inches here, so we're going to use the narrowest part so you don't end up having your design go outside the material. Use the Getting Started booklet to help you set up your machine. Lift the lid, find that power button. It's kind of hard to find, tucked into the side there under the LCD screen. Now, this is the part that this video is really about. Getting that mat loaded so that it will go through straight and square. Sometimes the rollers can grab the mat at an angle and your entire design will be skewed. So we're going to be very careful. First of all, you need to line up the edge of your mat right alongside that blue line and push it up toward the rollers. Those rollers are going to grab onto your mat and pull it through. There's also a roller on the other side. Push it up against that one too. Keep one hand holding the mat firmly against the rollers and up alongside that blue line as you push the word load, the load button, on the LCD screen. And it should load nice and straight and square. I'm going to show you this with the pink fabric mat so you can see even more clearly that the edge of the mat is right up alongside that blue line. Not on top of it, not where the arrows are, right alongside that blue line, pushed up to the rollers. The entire roller is on the mat and grabbing it, and the same thing on the other side. When you open the Silhouette software, you're going to see an artboard that basically is your 12 by 12 mat. It also assumes that your material size is 12 by 12, filling that mat. So we need to fix that. On the right side, we'll go to Page Setup, and you can see that the machine is already set to Cameo with an auto cutting blade, cutting mat 12 by 12, but the media size is auto 12 by 12. So we're going to change that to custom. And then we'll type in the measurements that we took. So the narrowest part of ours was 3.875, so that's what we're going to type in there, and you see it change. And then the height was 2.125, so that will also change. And that's the area you really have to work in. The Silhouette will cut only in places where it knows you have material, so that'll keep the Silhouette from cutting your mat by accident where there is no material. Just be careful that you don't use the top ½ inch. You can see there's a 1/4 inch, ½ inch, 1 inch lines there. You don't want to use the top ½ inch, that's going to be used for our test, which we're going to do right now. We're going to go into the Send tab. It's probably going to be default set to your material type of cardstock plain. Under that, you can see settings that the software suggests for cardstock. First of all is the depth of cut. That depth of cut is set on a 3. The force of the blade is set on 20. These are far too high for vinyl. So we're going to go up to our material and change it. Scroll all the way down to V for vinyl. I usually use vinyl glossy as just a basic vinyl. And you can see the settings changed. Now it suggests a blade depth of only 1, force of 10. There's passes 1. Sometimes with paper you need to do more than 1 pass, or with glitter, things like that. So now we're going to run a test. If your Cameo still says it's unavailable, it's just not connected or not turned on. So turn your machine on and it will automatically connect. You can check out the Getting Started booklet for more information about connecting your computer to the Silhouette. Alright, so you run the test. When it's finished processing the job, the unload button will appear and you can push that. The goal of the test cut is to see if the Cameo can cut through the vinyl but not through the backing. So your challenge is to locate and weed away that square and leave the triangle behind. If it comes off nice and smooth, you can reload and run your job because your settings are correct. Remember to line up your mat against the inside of that raised blue line and against the rollers on each side. Back in our software, we're going to go back into design and type what we want on our sticker. I'm going to make a Route 9 sticker. So I'll type that in, and then I'm just going to click somewhere else on the mat to get out of text mode. And then when I click again on our type, I'll be able to resize it. I'm trying to get the most I can out of this little piece of scrap vinyl. However, I have to be aware that I can't use that top ½ inch because the test is within that area. So I can get close to it. But you know, that's about as big of a sticker as I'm going to get, and that looks good. It's all within those red bounds. And I'm actually just going to help myself with weeding by putting a little bounding box around my design so I can pull away that bounding box more easily than if I have to find a corner with my fingernail. So that bounding box is going to help us when we're weeding. It's kind of hard to see now what's going on. There's so many red lines. So if you like to see better what your sticker will look like, I would go up into the top right and add color. So select your text and go up here where it says it's transparent. Click that down box and add a color. It doesn't matter what color because the sticker will be whatever color vinyl that you put on the mat already. So now we're going to leave the design tab and go into the tab on the very, very top right there in blue, the send tab. Make sure you still have vinyl glossy because sometimes it will revert. So as long as everything is still the same, everything we want cut is outlined in red, we can send this to the machine. Definitely keep an eye and an ear on your job. First, you're going to hear a clicking. That's the blade being adjusted to the depth you chose. Sorry to expose your ears to this. Then you're going to hear the gears turning as they move the mat, pull the mat through as the machine creates your cut. If you get any weird screeching sounds or you notice the mat being pulled in on a diagonal, go into the software and cancel the job. You just have to start over. It's going to be hard to see that it worked at first. You got to kind of move it around in the light to see your design. With this example, we put a bounding box that actually goes through our test. So we can slip our weeding tool from the test under that bounding box, basically giving us a way in with our weeding tool. Put all your sticky bits off to the side. You might want a piece of scrap paper or something to put those sticky bits on so they don't get all over floor and table. And then, if you didn't use the whole scrap, give the edges a nice straight cut so they'll be ready for next time you want to make something. And put them back with the right scrap. We have a box that says Adhesive sticker vinyl. So make sure you put it in there and not the heat transfer. Turn off the Silhouette and close it. Smooth the cover back onto the mat. Make sure you cover all the sticky bits because otherwise the mat will collect dust, which will cause bumps and mess up your cut. And that's that. Next, you're going to check in the booklet Guide to Vinyl and find out how to use transfer tape to adhere your sticker wherever you want it. Thank you. Remember, you got this. Be patient with yourself.